Cut myself doing this yesterday. Probably because I'm cutting the bagel like an idiot. Oh. And the final piece of the recipe. I've done a lot of trial runs with different hot sauces, and I think that these are my two goats. Shout out my brother for this Modelo shirt. A little life hack about buying these big winter coats. So this one's a North Face. I bought this in June. Why did I buy it in June? Because nobody's buying a frickin' winter coat in June. Got this thing for like 150 bucks. I think it retailed for over 300. So if you need a new winter coat, buy it in the middle of the summer. You'll get a great deal. Coming from New Hampshire, I love New Hampshire to death. I miss it. But living here without a car, two huge advantages. Number one, no car to clear off. Number two, no driveway to shovel.
Closing doors, please.
This is the Manhattan-bound J local train.
Looks like I got the Williamsburg Bridge all to myself. Uh-oh, this might be a problem. Problem solved! So something kind of interesting. If you've ever wondered why cities like New York and Boston get these really harsh winters, but our European counterparts like Paris, London, they're at about the same latitude, but their winters are a lot more mild. So why is that? First part of the answer is the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is a big stream of air that brings all this nice and warm air from the tropics, like in the Caribbean, up along the Atlantic coast of the US and then basically dumps it over Europe. It doesn't really dump it over the United States, it stays off the coast. The second reason is similar. It has to do with the prevailing winds. Prevailing winds over the North Atlantic generally push from west to east. So it pushes all that mild ocean air over Europe while we get the continental air, which is much colder. It's air that's coming from like Canada. Kind of crazy looking. That's how I feel right now. Made it over to Manhattan. Happy to report it's still standing. In case you were wondering, that is a bookstore. Why it is themed like Egypt, I have no idea. But it looks pretty hilarious in a blizzard. In order to film that shot of me walking in the door, I have this little tripod that I can set up for my phone. And when I was setting this up on the table, I wasn't paying attention to where my elbow was. And I knocked my nice Chinese vase off my table. This was such a pretty vase too. The hazards of vlogging. Today's the day we solidify our return to the Super Bowl. Let's go Patriots. Quick story about this guy. When I was 22, I worked at a resort in Maine called the Cliff House. Really nice resort. I worked there as a valet / bellman. One night in the summer, I'm working the valet loop and I was behind our little valet desk. I was looking down at like a piece of paper on the desk and this guy comes from around the corner and is like, hey, can I get my car? I still have my head down, so I'm like, yeah, for sure. What's the last name on the ticket? And as I turned my head, I'm like, actually, don't need the last name. I was looking at none other than Mike Vrabel. So yeah, pulled his car around. I remember he was driving a big white Cadillac Escalade. Also tipped me $5, which was a pretty good tip. So shout out Mike Vrabel. Ordered a chopped cheese from the bodega across the street. So let's go get it. Shout out my cousin Lee for this custom bottle opener. Lee is in the Navy, and as you might be able to tell, this was a .50 caliber bullet. Ooh-wee. Oh, Drake May does not get enough credit for his run game. To the Super Bowl we go. It's about 8 o'clock now. Snow is still coming down. And the sky is basically glowing right now. The reason for that is in these conditions, the snow is essentially acting as a mirror. Snow at the end of the day is ice crystals, which are reflective. So the street lights and all the lights from the skyscrapers bounce right off the snow. And then they try to go up into the sky, but in a blizzard, you have all these low-hanging clouds. The clouds act as a ceiling and send that light right back down. So it creates this perfect echo chamber of light, if you will. It's pretty dang cool. Let's make some dinner. I'm thinking bulgogi with rice. Not the fanciest meal I've ever made, but I can guarantee you it'll be tasty. Well, everybody, I think that's gonna just about do it for me today. As always, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.